It's important to secure our borders and our nation. It's a biblical directive. You know, the idea that we should have open borders is not only sheer insanity, but it's also 100% anti-biblical. You know, what nation in the history of the world fails to secure its own borders? It's unheard of, right? Right, there you go, just here, right, you know, with Biden. Except to Joe Biden and the, you know, I want to just call them like stupid idiot Democrats. I'm sorry, but it's just pure, you know, sheer stupidity to just have these open borders and just let anyone through without vetting them. You know, in 2023 alone, this year alone, there were almost 2.5 million illegal immigrants that crossed the U.S.-Mexico border. That's 2.5 million undocumented illegal immigrants in a single year. That's year after year after year. We had record highs this year with, you know, with Biden's disaster of his, you know, just his non-policies about it and just, you know, being the Democrats. That's how they are. And think about the amount of fentanyl and narcotics and sex trafficking and child trafficking that goes on at the borders. That's the real injustice and the real evil. But, you know, we see a lot of hypocrisy from the left, from the Democrats, from the liberals, pretending like they care about children. If you cared about the children, secure the borders so we don't get these hardcore illicit drugs and child trafficking through our borders. So how many military-age men are coming through also from hostile nations, right? How many military-age men are just coming through every single day? The hypocrisy from the left on this is astounding. You know, liberal extremist mayors all across the nation, mayors like Eric Adams of New York, you know, when he was just a liberal, just your average liberal guy, he welcomed and boasted in the idea of being a sanctuary city. And they called us racist for opposing it. Remember that, right? Until Governor Abbott of Texas and Governor DeSantis of Florida bust their illegal immigrants to New York City in retaliation. And now faced with that reality, Mayor Eric Adams now says that if, quote, if illegal immigration is not controlled, it will destroy New York City. So, I mean, he had a total turnaround. And he still doesn't praise Trump for it. He's still criticizing, you know, the conservative governors about it. He's a complete and total hypocrite. And so he's begging Biden for help, and Biden is ignoring him, and New York is getting exactly what they deserve for voting these loons in. And so God is for borders, just for nations having borders, and he's for the sovereignty of nations. And it's not racist to think so. You know, I'm all for legal immigration. In fact, I'm a legal migrant myself. Even though I was just 5 at the time, my family migrated here from Iran in the late 1970s before the Islamic Revolution and the Islamic terrorists took over the nation. And, you know, they didn't want us to be in war and get drafted because there was also the Iran-Iraq war going on. And so we were genuine refugees, but we took the legal route. We went through lawyers and immigration. We had to get naturalized through the legal process. But to let millions of people in through our borders every year without vetting them, without doing background checks, without seeing if they'll be a productive member of society or whether they will be a drain on our resources is pure and sheer insanity. You know, when my family migrated here, we had to provide documentation and prove that we could provide for ourselves, that we weren't going to be a drain on the welfare system. You know, you had to show some income or some support. At least somebody had to be willing to support you to come through. And that's right. That's how it should be. Why should we have to fund illegal immigrants to the tune of millions a year through our hard-earned income and taxes? We're paying for everything that's going on. Nothing is free. It's draining the system. Over 50% of our taxes go to the welfare system. And so, you know, but we see that the Bible is very compassionate towards immigrants. You know, we see that. We're supposed to be compassionate. It says, for example, in Exodus 22:21, thou shalt neither vex a stranger in the Bible meant a foreigner, nor oppress him, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. So we're told to be compassionate towards foreigners and immigrants, but immigrants to the nation of Israel at the time weren't entitled. They didn't expect us to confirm their culture and their ways, but were expected to align with and conform to their values. You know, when strangers came to live in Israel, they had to convert to the God of Israel. And they had to sojourn, at least they had to be respectful of the culture and the times. And so, you know, it's just not like that today. You know, there's no respect for the American way and the American culture. It's just all woke now, and it's all confusion. You know, Acts 17:26 says that God hath made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and hath determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation. There's a lot there. First of all, it says we're of one blood. The Bible says that God has formed all the nations of one blood. So the Bible is the least racist book in existence. It says that we're all of one blood. We all bleed red. It says that God has appointed the bounds of their habitations, the bounds of the nation's habitations. That's speaking of borders. You know, there's a biblical mandate for nations to secure their own borders. It's just right. It's biblical. It's natural. And so the Bible speaks of it. Deuteronomy 32:8 says, when the Most High divided the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. That's biblical for borders. You know, we're supposed to have secure borders. The Bible is pro-border security. It's biblical. Only an antichrist like Joe Biden and the ridiculously ludicrous Democrats and leftists and liberals and communists want open borders. And there's a reason for that. They want to destroy the nation, or they want votes. You know, and so that's a part of the problem. Leftists and Democrats take a detached view from reality on almost every topic. It's why we're so opposed. I mean, just pick any topic and we're going to be on opposite extremes of every single topic. That's not natural. That's not normal. That's supernatural. There's a reason for it, because there's blindness on the left. There's an anti-God sentiment on the left. There's an anti-family and an anti-nation sentiment. It's just all about, let's just have this one big communal living space, you know, that's just pie in the sky and never works. It just leads to millions of deaths, you know, every time it's been tried. And so there's a lot of delusion. There's a detached view from reality. It's a lot of idealism. And even the ones that mean well on that side take an overly idealistic view and are detached from the practical realities of national security and sovereignty. You know, that's why I'm not pro-UN, I'm not pro-WEF or pro-WHO or pro-whatever. These are all globalist, unelected, and undemocratic organizations who have no regard for the sovereignty of nations. They think they're the moral authority, but they're actually wicked authoritarians. They want to control you. And so we are a sovereign nation. We don't take our standing orders from the World Health Organization or from the World Economic Forum or Klaus Schwab. And I mean, if there's ever been a real-life Bond villain, it's Klaus Schwab. I mean, if you just look that guy up, right? I mean, it is just unreal.